Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Andrew. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. What's on your heart tonight?
Well, I'm looking at Luke chapter 14 and what Jesus is talking about to his disciples and telling them that you have to give up everything for Jesus. Now, when Jesus says give up everything, exactly, what does Jesus mean by every single thing?
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, we leave everything behind. When we step out of Adam into Christ, we leave our very selves behind. I mean, a lot of Christians, we don't realize that, but that's precisely what happens at the born again experience. Out with the old, in with the new. The old is crucified and buried. We are raised to newness of life. So, he says here in verse 26 of Luke 14, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father, mother, wife, children, brothers, sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So, what's he saying? I mean, is Christianity really about hate? No, that's not his point. His point is you're leaving behind an identity. It's a family identity. You're leaving behind getting your self worth and your value and your identity from other people that you're related to physically. So you're going to get a brand new identity, born of God, born of the Spirit. And so it is an abandoning of the old and an adopting of the new. This isn't literally about, hey, if you're a Christian, you've got to hate your dad and hate your mom and hate your brothers. But in comparison to what you're going to be receiving in Christ, well, those sort of things pale. I mean, as good as it is, as fun as it is to have a loving family and to have a great relationship with them, you've got an identity that endures the test of time. It goes beyond this world. You take this new identity into death as you physically die and awaken in the presence of God. Your identity is His child. And so he goes on to say, calculate the cost, that sort of thing. Otherwise, you've laid a foundation and not able to finish. And he goes on in the next six or eight verses here to talk about this cost. And the cost is out with the old, in with the new. And God makes that happen. Look, it is by His doing that you are in Christ Jesus. But I guess what he's telling him is you got to know what you're getting yourself into here. If you call upon my name to be saved, do you realize what's going to happen to you? It's not just a reformation of your behavior. If you call upon the name of the Lord to be saved, it's not just some sort of sin management system. No, there's something deep that happens at the fundamental core of your being. That part of you is ripped out and replaced, and your whole mentality changes. I mean, yeah, you've still got a father and a mother and a brother and a sister, but your mentality changes. You have a new reference point for finding value and worth. And so this is the cost. It comes at the cost of your old self. That's not some sort of super commitment you need to make. Oh, God, I promise to do these 10 things, or I promise never to smoke or drink or hang out with people that do. That's not the flavor, that's not the context of this passage. What he's talking about here is it comes at the expense of literally your old self. Your old self dies. Galatians 2:20, I've been crucified with Christ. Romans 6, your old self died with him. Colossians chapter 2, if you died to the principles of this world, then why are you looking to rules, religious rules? They have the appearance of value, but they lack any real value in restraining sin. So we die with Jesus. We're resurrected with Jesus. The old life is dead, buried, and gone. Yes, we still have remnants of attitudes. Yes, we still have struggles. Yes, we still are learning and growing and getting our minds renewed. But there is an absolute and final death that occurs at salvation. We are then dead to sin and alive to God. So when he says, carry your cross, come after him, where did he go? Well, Jesus picked up his cross and went to Calvary. So where do you go? Well, you too go to Calvary. Again, Galatians 2:20, I've been crucified with Christ. So that's the context, that's the meaning behind what he is saying here. Don't think that it's going to be just behavior reform, and don't think that it's just going to be attitude change. Literally, the core of your being is exchanged at the born again experience. And, that's what Romans 6 is all about when he says, what shall we say then? Should we just go on sinning? And then he says, by no means. He's basically saying, are you crazy? Do you not know what's happened to you? Do you not realize that you participated in Christ's death? That Jesus wasn't the only one to die on the cross? You died with him in a very real sense. Do you not know this yet? Are you crazy? You're talking about going on sinning? You died to sin. How can you live in it any longer? So that's the mentality that he's giving them a sort of an appetizer of here, Catherine. So I hope that makes sense. I'll put you back on. Does that help? Does that clarify the meaning of Luke 14 for you?
It does clarify. I just wanted to add something regarding witnessing for Christ and how you can be persecuted for the mere act of witnessing for Christ, and how that can be also a form of taking up your cross in the worldly sense, and just confronting the lies in the world, and just being persecuted because of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I hear you. Of course. I mean, no argument there. Anybody who's been in Christ for a week, a month, a year has experienced some form of rejection because of their faith in him. Jesus said the world will hate you. So don't be surprised when there's this fiery ordeal that comes upon you. And Jesus said the world would hate us. I think the only issue we have there is when we mix in the message of the cross into that. We just need to be careful with our language, because what we always want to celebrate is the finished work of Christ. So let me see if I can parse this out. Sharing the good news of the gospel is great, but we don't die more doing it. Sharing the message of the gospel is fantastic, and yes, we may be persecuted or rejected by the world, but that doesn't make us die more with Jesus. We already died. Romans 6 says the death that he died to sin, he died once for all. In the same way, consider yourself dead to sin. So in the same way that Jesus is dead to sin, you're dead to sin. He died once for all. You died once for all with him. So I absolutely agree with you that we share the message and we find rejection. We share the message and we find persecution. But we just want to make sure we don't lump that in with us dying to sin. That took place at salvation. So every day we get the privilege, the honor of waking up and counting ourselves dead to sin and alive to God. Catherine, thank you so much for your call tonight. Really appreciate it. I hope you'll call us back anytime.